Boom! What's up, Unlimited Lifers? Coach Corey here. Together we'll do it better. And today is day number 11. I'm not going to do the hand thing anymore because it's just going to get too much. But day number 11 of the 30-day life challenge. You guys have already completed 1/3 of the challenge. I can't believe it. It's awesome, awesome, awesome. But today we're going to kind of go back, almost back to like day 1 and day 2 where we started sharing stories, right? I can't tell you enough how important it is for you to get comfortable telling stories, because stories are what's going to make you, gain that approval, basically, of the people that are coming into your world, right? And sharing stories is one of the best ways to get people to relate to you. So, sharing stories as often as possible is going to be one of the best things to do. And don't ever think that you can't share the same story over and over again, right? Like, I could probably tell the same stories in this group every single month, every single week probably, and people aren't going to get sick of it. What'll happen is, if anything, if people already heard your story, they're just not going to listen to it again. But you're always going to be putting it out there, right? Putting the same story out there and out there and out there and out there. The reason is because, again, as you're growing your following, as you're growing your tribe, as you're growing your brand, business, whatever it is, you're always attracting more people into it, and you want to make sure that they know those stories, right? So today, let's share another story about you. I know that I've already kind of talked about my entrepreneurial journey. So if you guys want to start there, if you want to let us know like how old you were when you first started doing your entrepreneurial journey, how many different things have you tried, what kind of successes have you had, what kind of failures have you had, and again, don't be afraid to get vulnerable, because here's the thing. To get people to relate to you, you need to put yourself in a position that they're in now. Ultimately, when it comes to being an online marketer, when it comes to growing your brand or business, you got to take your customers from point A to point B, right? And you should have already been in point A, so you should be able to relate to them in order to help them get to point B. So for me, I wasn't always comfortable on camera. Now I'm obviously way more comfortable than I've ever been before. But if you go back, right, and look, it's like my first videos, I was shaky. You could hear it in my voice. I wasn't confident, all these different things. Just like you guys, when you came in and did your first day, your first day 1 of the challenge, but now that I've done it so many times, I can take you guys from that point, because I know what it's like. I remember the sweats that I got and the nervousness that I got going live for the first time, and then walking through that process. And now that I've done it so many times, I know what it looks like at the other end, right? I know how I feel whenever I go live, and all that kind of stuff. So again, your story is going to grab people where they're at in their journey, and it's going to help them relate to you, so that they know, hey, I can trust this person to take me from where I'm at right now to where it is that I want to go. So it's super important. Feel free to share your story with us today, whatever that story might be. And again, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. I've tried thousands of things probably, right? And I've had failures in like all of them. Of course, I don't view them as failures. I view them as lessons learned. But ultimately, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't go through those experiences, right? So using your story, sharing those experiences, good or bad, is going to help people relate to you, right? And get you to where you want to go. So with that being said, my story, I've got a long story, but I'll share a little bit of it with you right now. So back in 2008, I was working for General Motors at the time, at the proving ground, so I was crash testing cars. I was engaged to get married. Life was good, right? I was making a bunch of money, but then the whole economy crashed. And when it crashed, I ended up losing my job at General Motors. But before that happened, I heard the rumors about it, and then I was engaged to get married at the time, and my fiance at the time, her mom found out that I was probably going to be losing my job, and she approached me one day and said, I don't think you can provide my daughter with the lifestyle that she's used to. And for whatever reason, I believed it. At the time, because I was freaking out. I was like 24 years old maybe at the time, and I remember thinking like, yeah, she's right. Like, I can't do this, So I ended up breaking up with my fiance at the time, and then I got 2 DUIs in 30 days, right? Because I didn't know how to deal with the breakup. It was the first time I really had a breakup. I was with her for like 5 years, and I didn't know how to deal with it, right? So I went out and I started drinking and just, threw all caution to the wind. I ended up getting 2 DUIs in 30 days. I lost my driver's license. After that, I did lose my job, not because of the driver's license, but because I was getting laid off anyway. After that, my house got foreclosed on, my car got repoed. I ended up living in a little one-room apartment above this lady's garage, and I'll never forget it. So like I said, I've shared my faith with you before in Jesus Christ, and there was a point where I was living above this lady's garage where I was going to kill myself, but at that time I wasn't a Christian. I mean, I believed in God. I've always believed in God, and I've always been more towards the Christian side of things. But for whatever reason, I had a little treadmill in my apartment, and I never worked out. I was way overweight, like compared to what I am now. I was about 185 pounds then, and I'm like 160 now. But anyway, never worked out. I used to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, and I looked at this treadmill and I said, you know what, God, like, give me the strength to do something I've never done before, and then I'll know that with you anything's possible. And I looked at the treadmill and I said, I want to run 5 miles in 1 hour, and if I can do that, then I know that with you anything is possible. So I did it, right? I got on the treadmill and I started running, and the first couple miles were just super physically demanding. Like for me, I never worked out, right? So it sucked. But then I got to this point where I was so deep in prayer that, I kind of had this outer body experience. Some people say that it was like a runner's euphoria is what they say. I mean, I don't think you get that after 2 miles. But anyway, I was so deep in prayer that when I was on the treadmill, I wasn't like on the treadmill, right? I was still running. I know I was on the treadmill running, but I was so deep in prayer that physically it wasn't doing anything. But anyway, so I got done. I got done with the 5 miles, and once I did, I remember just praying and I was thanking God, and I went to the side of my bed and I was kneeling and I was crying, and I don't remember like how I got in bed or how I fell asleep, but I do remember that the next day I woke up and it was like the weight of the world was off my shoulders, right? Like I had this completely new life, and that's kind of what got me really geared towards this online thing, getting it going from there. But that was a long time ago, right? So basically, after that happened, I started reading. I read a book called The Alchemist, which is one of my favorite books. It talks about omens and signs and stuff like that, and then a whole bunch of other things. I'll share some more of my story later, but that's the gist of it, right? Like that's where I kind of started, and then I basically went 10 years of just soaking up knowledge, not actually doing anything with it until my daughter was born. So I ended up getting married. I moved to Texas. I got married. I had a kid, and when she was born, I said, you know what, this is it, man. Like I have to go in on this all in, otherwise it's never going to happen, right? So that kind of kicked off where I got to now. So in a matter of a couple years, I became known as like a Facebook group growth expert. I started doing this 30-day live challenge, and I just really started positioning myself with other experts in the industry. And that's what I'm teaching you guys, hopefully inside of this group, and hopefully you're getting that. So that's it, guys. That's the video for today. Just sharing another story, right? Make sure that you use hashtag 30-day live challenge day 11, and then make sure that you come back to this email and click on the little button down at the bottom, just like you have been doing. That way you guys will get day 12's video tomorrow. All right, can't wait to hear your stories. Again, it's just gonna be a great way for people to relate to you and build your know, like, and trust factor. So thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you in tomorrow's video.